Motion to approve the agenda.
Support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have the minutes of January 29 and February 1st and 2nd to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Conservation report, Dave indicated he is on a, I believe he's at a conference somewhere in Jefferson County. M-Card, Deanne had a conflict, so she won't be here. That brings us to Recreation and Economic Development Foundation out of New Sharon. Randy, Dustin, you guys want to come up? Or? Yeah.
Again, my name is Ranger Shaw. I'm here to represent the Perennials Country Club in New Sharon. Last summer, upon doing some repair on the swimming pool, we noticed it was beyond simple repairs. So we looked in and got some quotes, and we have a quote to redo the pool. It is 50 years old. It's never had any major work done to it over that period of time. So structurally wise, it's been very good the last 50 years through the winters and stuff we have, but it's definitely time for the upgrade. Ramsey out of Ottumwa, Iowa, come through with the best quote. It is going to cost us $26,727 to redo. And it's something we're definitely going forward with. Being a nonprofit organization, I realize it's a country club, but it is definitely open to anybody outside the 10-mile radius to come swim. Our membership is $348 a year. That gives you a golf course, country club to rent, gives you tennis court, swimming pool, a lot of necessities for low dollar amount, but to keep it that low, we do not have, a lot of money to work with, just enough to kind of support the people, to help and everything. So we're looking for help. We went to the city, and they've agreed to pay half through the 1% rate, and so that brings me here today to ask for the other half. We still have some other costs on our end to do, which is, this also includes a little pool being redone, but the plumbing needs to be redone, some concrete tore up and done, some drainage needs to be done, and that's not even figured into the quote. So there is going to be still some cost on our end.
I'm here on behalf of the city of New Sharon, and to kind of put our pitch in. Randy's right. The name of the Perennials Country Club is kind of a misnomer. Anybody that knows that membership is not exclusive. It's $348 a year for a family membership. They have single memberships. I have no idea what those cost. Essentially, we kind of look at it as our city's pool and golf course and tennis court that probably doesn't get a whole bunch of use, but kind of is a major part of the recreation in the city of New Sharon. And in the past, our 1-cent sales tax has been set up so the city can give grants, low interest loans, that kind of thing. And that's kind of what the city's perspective is. But I guess kind of where I'm here, from reading board minutes, that kind of thing, without going into it, seems like the board has put a priority or has determined that recreation falls into that economic development for Mahaska County. And given that, on behalf of the city, like I said, we kind of view this as as our city's recreation stuff. Telling Randy, essentially it kind of keeps the city from having to own it and deal with it is kind of how I look at it. But given the fact that I think you said there's 287 membership units, which could be families, like my family's a member, so there's 4 people, or it could be a single person. But I think what you'll see is that represents a large part of Mahaska County, a large population of Mahaska County. And I think that's kind of why the city would ask that the county supervisors support that. I know that's kind of been a big, one of the pushbacks against the 1 cent sales tax you guys passed is that it's all focused in Oskaloosa. And the realities of someone in Barnes City driving down to use that facility are probably small. Whereas I think, if instead you guys would use some money in different communities, not necessarily within a city even, there are some recreation facilities outside of city limits, not very many, but that you could reach a larger portion of the county. And so that's, like I said, I'm just here on behalf of the city to kind of support that request on their behalf. The city has committed, we've making sure that we can legally do it, but I'm thinking that we probably won't have an issue, but to supporting half of it through just an outright grant, and then possibly giving them a low interest loan to kind of cover whatever's not covered by grants and that sort of stuff. So that's where I'm here today on behalf of the city, just to kind of put our plug into, we've got 1,300 residents. That's a little over 5% of the entire county population, if my math is correct. It may not be, so.
Do you know how many of your members live outside of the city of New Sharon?
Probably, it would only be a guess, but at least half. We get a lot of draw from, we get some draw from Oskaloosa. I mean, it's surrounding Sigourney. We get some people from Des Moines. We get, as far as ways Des Moines, we get people from Pella, a lot of people from Pella, Montezuma, Linville, Sully, Grinnell. It's just a lot of, every town around, usually we at least got 1 or 2 members out of that. And at least 90% of our memberships is family. There is a swim pass that you can get, which is $90 for the year. And there is what they call single memberships and stuff, but most of them is
And you can
family.
get a day pass. I've played golf there
Yeah, yep.
several times.
Yeah.
And I think when Randy says the members are from Pella and Sully, I mean, I think those are the addresses. There's a lot of Pella residents who live in Mahaska County, a lot of Sully residents who live in Mahaska County. Probably not any Grinnell, probably doesn't come down here, but, and I think maybe that might be a thing that they're gonna look at next year, is to try to track those better and maybe get an idea of actually the population served.
We didn't realize it was gonna be such a needy thing to know exactly where all our memberships come from and who and.
It sounds like it's a potentially a substantial number come from the rural area.
Yeah.
It sounds like it may be more than the YMCA here in town, who we gave $6.5 million to. So,
Yeah,
I
it's,
mean,
we get a lot of draw. It's a lot of coming and going every year. It just depends on the family.
go ahead.
I was just saying, and that's not what we're asking to
No,
do. We're not asking for funds from what you guys have decided to give the voters an opportunity. But I think looking at the larger picture, from your guys' perspective, it may be a better sell if you can say, hey, look, we're spending money not just in Oskaloosa, but our communities throughout the county.
When did you guys get the quote? How long ago was that?
January 15th.
Okay.
That wasn't our only quote. We had some quotes that come from bigger companies, and they was all in the $60,000 to $70,000 range. So this is by far, and Ramsey has been doing it for 25 years. I know he's done the Tumwa Country Club. He's done that. I'm not sure what that swimming park is. It's on the south side of the river there in the Tumwa. He's done the Bloomfield Country Club swimming pool or city pool. So he does have some experience to what he's doing. So.
And essentially, this is based on what they told us. They're looking at a long-term fix in this. It's not to replace the pool, it's to grind it down, reseal the cracks, reseal the pool, and then paint it. And the only thing that you'd have to do maintenance on is the paint every so often. I mean, it's a long-term fix, I think, that would hopefully last another, I don't know, 50 years might be a little bit optimistic, but certainly a long time.
We've been painting it every year, manually and everything. He's gonna spray paint, and if, as long as the chemicals, which our guy that does it is usually pretty good on checks it every day, and chemicals are fine. He says the paint should last 7 to 8 years, so before it needs a repaint. So that's gonna help us too. save some money in the long run and use
Who owns the golf course and the swimming pool and all that?
the country club. It's membership owned, so, I mean, it's
So is the
not one
request,
certain
is the
person.
request coming from New Sharon, whatever you get?
No, we're just here showing our support for them.
Yeah, it's coming from the country club itself.
It's probably a misnomer on the agenda, but
Well, you know, I've said the local option sales tax should go to roads and bridges, because everybody uses them. It's a good way to make sure everybody's treated fairly. And that's why I don't want to be in the recreation business, because I don't like to pick this specific project and not that project, and I don't think that's fair to the community at large, but evidently the other supervisors say we're in the recreation business now, so. But if we're gonna be in the recreation business, I don't think we should be picking specific projects. I'd rather just give the money to the cities on a per capita basis, and let them distribute it for recreation or childcare or preschool purposes as they seem fit. And so I think that's what the local option sales tax should really reflect. If 40% is gonna be towards recreation, we need to distribute it throughout the community, to all the different cities, and let them see, for what purposes it should be used. But unfortunately, that wasn't done in this case, and I don't know why, but. And that's kind of how we did it with the last local option sales tax, because we were gonna help one specific school district, so we worked with all the other school districts and gave them money and said, hey, you know, when you're constructing facilities, use these funds for those purposes. And that would have made more sense, I think, when this was put together, but it wasn't done for some reason. Yeah.
Well, if that was such a strong argument from your point, maybe you should have made it.
Well, we still have time. I mean, the ballot language is due February 26th, so I'll move that the ballot language be rewritten such that the 40% of the local option sales tax that was earmarked for one specific project be reallocated to all incorporated cities in Mahaska County on a per capita basis of rural population for betterment of recreation, childcare, and preschool.
When is the ballot language due? Did you say the 26th?
February 26th.
February 26th. This will be our last meeting before that.
thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Well, hold on, there's a motion on the floor.
I was just gonna go sit back
You
down.
can sit down, but yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, there's a motion on the floor for consideration.
Read your motion again.
I move that the ballot language be rewritten such that 40% of the local option sales tax that was earmarked for one specific project be reallocated to all incorporated cities in Mahaska County on a per capita basis of rural population for betterment of recreation, childcare, and preschool. So whatever our rural population that has an Oskaloosa zip code, which is probably half, and that's kind of what the school district formula was, they would get the money. And all the other goes to the other cities. New Sharon would get more than enough to take care of those recreation needs that were just mentioned. And the other communities, if they want to give their money back to Oskaloosa in support of that rec center, they're more than welcome to do that. We wouldn't have any control of that. Under this arrangement, we wouldn't have to enter into a 28E with anybody. We would just earmark the money for the cities, let the cities collect their money, and they can distribute the money as they see fit. So,
How much was your total, the total cost?
$26,727.
The city of New Sharon's doing that,
We've committed to half, yeah.
Yes.
so 13,363.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying as this is the only request, I think that we could probably take care of it under the general fund without changing anything that we've already been working on for the last 6 months.
well, I mean, it's a property tax increase, and you talked about specifically not wanting to put any of those on property taxes before, and that was the reason you didn't want to put the YMCA specifically on the November ballot, to get a 60% vote, because you mentioned property taxes, so I'm a little confused as to why
Well, I
this
think
one would be
there's a
cheaper.
difference between $13,000 and $6 million.
Yeah, but I think that New Sharon should be entitled to their portion of these local option sales taxes. If we're getting 40% towards recreation, why aren't we giving it to all the communities in the county? Why are we just giving it to one community? I don't understand that.
Well, they're the only ones that we had a request from, and this request is coming late.
Well, I think the other cities in Mahaska County would they would sure appreciate the opportunity to take care of their recreation needs, their childcare needs, and their preschool needs. And why don't we do it on a per capita basis? We just distribute the money, say, hey, this is what we want it to be earmarked for, spend it for these purposes. If you want to give your money back to the city of Oskaloosa for their project, they would be more than welcome to, but that allows everybody puts everybody on an equal footing, and it's certainly, I think, is a lot more fair proposal.
Well, it might be, but seeing as this is the first time I've ever heard of it, I might not even do everything that we've done over the last 6 months to work toward their project either. But would it satisfy your recreation needs if we paid the other half of the swimming pool
Yes.
for the city of New Sharon?
I mean, it would help. I mean,
Well, that's your request.
Yes.
What other recreation needs do you have?
well, because that's our issue right now. If you want to talk about childcare and that kind of stuff, our preschool facility doesn't have a safe room for the kids. Doesn't have a way. My daughters go there when a tornado comes through. They bundle them up, take them to the elementary school. I mean, there's a lot more that we could request. This was the thing that they came to us. We looked at it, said, yeah, that's a good thing right now. And I'm not asking that the ballot language be changed. This was the issue that came before the city. This is what we said, hey, we put our backing behind this. But if you ask the question, what other needs are there in the city of New Sharon, there's many that encompass that category of recreation, early childhood development, preschool stuff. And actually the daycare facility is not even in the city limits of New Sharon, but I think we kind of look at it as part of us, so.
And the senior center closed last year, and it'd be nice if there's a spot there so seniors could spend some time and, we could have some exercise equipment and the like, and it'd be good. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities in New Sharon, and I think there's other opportunities in other rural areas. Fremont, I know they could use the money. I think they've got a preschool program down there, and we should distribute the money across the county, especially the rural. This is the rural penny we're talking about. Spread it out over the county. Don't put it towards one specific project and only that. I don't understand why we do that, but.
Well, if we'd heard from all these other communities about particular need at the front end of the process, it makes it a lot easier to do some of that. As far as the safe room, there's other money that's available for safe room through Area 15 RPC. Through state and federal grant programs, so those other needs can be also addressed, but I don't think that it has to be all encompassed in this motion.
May I speak? As far as the cities coming through forward, what I would say is in our small rural communities, we just do not have the manpower to spend saying, okay, let's figure out what our entire, what would be a great huge project for us is. The city of Oskaloosa, MCGD, GD, and all of those groups are incredibly organized, and their membership should get a lot of praise for that. They do very good for what they do. We just do not have, we don't have the ability to spend 6 months planning a long-term project. I mean, we don't. We have one full-time city clerk in the city, and the rest, are police officers and maintenance folks. We just don't have that. We kind of deal with things as they come up. This is an issue that came up. We view it as a nice deal for the city. Again, we didn't come in asking for a change in what you guys decided. Just thought, since that's what was decided, that's a priority for the board, and so we would support the request of the local country club. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at, and I'm guessing if you ask most rural towns, they're going to say the same thing, because they probably even have less ability than the city of New Sharon does, just because they're smaller.
Would have indicated that we were going to earmark some money for all the cities for recreation purposes. I'm sure New Sharon would have been more than willing to put a list of uses for those funds. But we let the agenda be dictated by a specific few instead of being proactive and actually reaching out to our rural communities and that's what's disappointing to me.
As far as the requests, we had requests from all over the place, from people who weren't organized to people who were very organized. And so, when all those things were brought to the table, we've had public hearing, and we've had lots of public input. There's been plenty of advertising, and maybe not advertising, but discussion in the newspapers from all the towns around. And I'm pretty sure that the awareness is up on this, because I hear from all parts of the county. And so,
Well, we didn't have any hearings in New Sharon, we didn't have any hearings in Eddyville, we didn't have any hearings in Fremont, so.
Mike, you're part of that process.
I am part of the process.
So
The process was
if this was
dictated, the process was dictated by special interests,
but if you had the,
who have dedicated people who are employed specifically for these type of purposes.
well, that was your desire, and that was what you would wish for the funds to go for, or go toward. For all these months, you could have brought it up, but you didn't.
I wasn't under the impression that we were gonna be handing out money to specific projects, because in November, you indicated that you opposed the YMCA project. And then when they brought their petition forward, you said it was an insult. So I was under the impression all along that we were gonna use money towards roads. And then all of a sudden, that changed very quickly. There's a motion on the table, it doesn't have a second. Any other discussion on the topic?
I'll make a motion that we contribute the other half, $13,363.50, to go towards New Sharon's, to fix their
I didn't quite follow, where's that money coming from?
general fund.
I'll support that motion, because I think it's important, because my understanding is the city of Oskaloosa will close their pool, at least I was told that, as soon as the Y project is complete. So this will be their only outdoor pool in all of Mahaska County. That's pretty shocking, but good for your community.
You can put it on the signs.
There you go, there you go. So I'll support that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thanks a
Payroll
lot.
change. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Payroll change, treasurer, seasonal help. Sign.